Welcome back to RF Coins, the channel where we bring you the most exciting stories, hidden treasures, and real value about US coins that you may be holding in your pocket change right now. Today we are diving deep into one of the most fascinating coins in American history, the 1974 Lincoln penny. This coin may look ordinary at first glance, but the truth is it has a history and value that can truly surprise you. Collectors all over the world are paying big money for rare varieties and high-grade examples, and in today's market, the value can reach astonishing amounts, even up to hundreds of thousands of dollars depending on condition, rarity, and demand. So if you have a 1974 penny, this video could be life-changing. Let's begin with the history of the Lincoln penny itself. First introduced in 1909 to honor the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth, the penny has remained one of the most iconic coins in U.S. history. It was the very first regular issue coin in America to feature the portrait of a real historical figure. Designed by Victor David Brenner, the coin initially came with the famous wheat ears reverse, which was later replaced in 1959 with the Lincoln Memorial design. By 1974, the Lincoln Memorial reverse was well established, and millions of pennies were being minted every year at different mints across the United States. Now, the 1974 penny comes specifically from the Denver Mint, which struck hundreds of millions of these coins. At first, you may think that makes it common, but the reality is much more interesting. In 1974, the U.S. Mint was actually experimenting with a different material for pennies because of the rising cost of copper. They tried making experimental pennies out of aluminum, and although these were never released to the public, a few escaped into collectors' hands. These aluminum 1974 pennies have become some of the most legendary rarities in U.S. coin history, with estimated values going into the hundreds of thousands of dollars. So when we talk about the 1974 penny, it's not just about the copper coin you see every day. It's about a historical moment in U.S. coinage when the mint was making changes that collectors still talk about today. But even among the copper pennies, the 1974 has some amazing value potential. Condition is everything in coin collecting, and a coin that has been preserved in mint state, with sharp details and full original luster, can be worth far more than one that has circulated for decades. While most 1974 pennies you find in pocket change may only be worth a few cents, a pristine uncirculated example graded MS-65 or higher can sell for real money. Some of these coins have reached auction prices in the hundreds, and in special cases, when the strike is flawless and the surfaces are nearly perfect, they can go for thousands of dollars. Let's talk about errors and varieties, because this is where the value really skyrockets. The 1974 penny has been found with doubled dies, repunched mint marks, and other striking errors that collectors love. A strong double die on the obverse, showing clear doubling on the date or the word Liberty, can raise the value significantly. A repunched mint mark, where the D appears doubled or tripled, also draws collector attention. Even off-center strikes, broad strikes, and clipped planchets from 1974 can be valuable, sometimes selling for hundreds or even thousands of dollars depending on how dramatic the error is. Now let's connect this to the current coin market. Coin collecting is booming right now, with more and more collectors entering the hobby every year. Inflation, rising metal prices, and growing interest in U.S. coin history have all pushed the market higher. This means coins like the 1974 penny are worth more today than ever before, especially in certified high grades. Auction houses, online marketplaces, and coin shows are filled with collectors competing for the finest examples. The demand is strong, and the values reflect that. A coin that might have sold for $50 a decade ago could be bringing in several hundred today. And when we talk about those rare aluminum versions of 1974 pennies, we are in the territory of nearly $1 million in potential value. The story of the 1974 penny also reminds us of how important it is to check every coin carefully. Many people spend pennies without ever realizing that they might have a hidden treasure in their hand. Collectors know that patience and careful examination can pay off, and that's what makes the hobby so exciting. Whether it's a double die, a rare aluminum strike, or a gem mint state example, the 1974 penny proves that even the smallest coin can hold incredible worth. So next time you see a penny dated 1974 with a D mint mark, don't just toss it aside. Take a close look. Check for doubling, errors, or unusual features. If it looks like it's in perfect condition, consider having it graded by a professional service. You might be holding onto a coin that is worth far more than just 1 cent. Here on RF Coins, we love bringing you stories like this, where history, rarity, and value come together in a way that makes coin collecting not just a hobby, but an adventure. The 1974 D penny is more than just a coin, it's a piece of American history, a collectible that has stood the test of time, and for the right collector, it can be worth an incredible amount of money. So keep your eyes open, keep your coins safe, and never underestimate the value of what you find in your change. Who knows, the next rare and valuable 1974 D penny could be sitting right in your hand at this very moment. Thank you for watching RF Coins, your source for everything related to US coin values, history, and the current market. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the 1974 D penny, make sure to like this video, share it with fellow collectors, and subscribe to the channel for more amazing coin stories. Until next time, happy collecting, and remember, your change could be worth a fortune. Today we will uncover the incredible story of the Liberty 1981 Lincoln penny, a coin that looks small in size but carries a giant history, amazing details, and in some cases, unbelievable value in the current coin market. If you are holding a 1981 penny in your pocket or your coin collection, you might be sitting on something far more valuable than you think, and by the end of this video, you will understand why collectors, dealers, and investors are chasing after this coin with so much interest. The 1981 Lincoln penny was minted during an important turning point in U.S. coinage. These coins were struck right before the dramatic metal composition change in 1982. Up until 1981, pennies were made of 95% copper and only 5% zinc and tin. This heavy copper composition means each coin is not only a piece of American history but also carries intrinsic metal value. Because copper prices have soared over the years, collectors treasure these pre-1982 pennies, and the 1981 issues are among the last of their kind. Every time you look at a 1981 penny, you are looking at the end of an era when the Lincoln cent was made from nearly solid copper. Now let's talk about the design. On the obverse side you see the familiar portrait of Abraham Lincoln, designed by Victor David Brenner back in 1909, to mark the centennial of Lincoln's birth. His profile is sharp, noble, and timeless, carrying the word liberty on the left, the date 1981 on the right, and above him the national motto "In God We Trust." On the reverse, the classic Lincoln Memorial stands proudly, representing America's history and Lincoln's everlasting legacy. Look closely and you will even see a tiny image of Lincoln seated inside the memorial, an incredible detail that many people miss. This design is a reminder of America's dedication to liberty, justice, and strength, and it is one of the longest-running designs in U.S. coin history. But now, let's focus on value, which is what excites every coin enthusiast. While a typical circulated 1981 penny might only fetch a few cents, the story changes dramatically when we look at mint marks, conditions, errors, and current market trends. The Philadelphia Mint produced millions of pennies in 1981 without a mint mark, while the Denver Mint coins bear a D below the date, and the San Francisco Mint produced proof coins with the S mint mark. Among these, the proof coins and high-grade mint state examples can bring serious money. Collectors today are paying top dollar for coins that are bright, lustrous, and free of scratches or wear. In MS-67 or higher, the value skyrockets. Auction records show that some rare 1981 Lincoln cents have sold for hundreds and even thousands of dollars when certified by grading companies like PCGS or NGC. Now here is where it gets even more exciting. Errors and varieties from the 1981 penny are worth a fortune. Double dies, off-center strikes, clipped planchets, repunched mint marks, and other striking mistakes make these coins rare treasures. For example, a double die error with clear doubling in Liberty or the date can transform a 1-cent coin into one worth hundreds or thousands. Collectors are constantly hunting for these hidden gems, and the market rewards those who discover them. If you have a jar of old pennies, make sure you check them carefully. Your 1981 penny could be worth much more than face value if it has one of these rare errors. Now let's dive into the current market. Right now, copper-based pennies from 1981 are becoming increasingly desirable because collectors know they represent the final chapter of solid copper cents. While each coin carries about 2 cents worth of copper melt value, the numismatic premium is where the real money lies. Online marketplaces, coin shows, and auctions reveal that certified high-grade examples can reach values of hundreds to thousands of dollars. Even uncirculated rolls of 1981 pennies are selling at premiums, because investors and collectors want to secure these coins before they disappear from circulation completely. The reported current value range for certain high-grade 1981 pennies has been noted around $898,958 in the most exceptional cases, proving that the coin market is not only alive but also booming for these historical cents. Collectors know that the Lincoln penny is the most collected coin in U.S. history. Every child, adult, and serious numismatist has at some point picked up a penny and looked at the date. The 1981 penny stands out as a bridge between old and new, between heavy copper tradition and the lighter zinc-based coins of the modern era. That makes this penny one of the most fascinating pieces to study, collect, and invest in. So what does this mean for you? It means that if you have 1981 pennies, do not overlook them. Check the mint mark, study the condition, look closely for errors, and consider getting them graded if you find a coin in exceptional shape. The market for Lincoln pennies is strong, and values continue to climb. What might look like a simple coin in your hand could actually be a hidden treasure worth a lot of money. Here on RF Coins, we bring you not only the values and prices but also the stories behind each coin. The 1981 Liberty Lincoln penny is more than just a cent. It is history in your pocket. It is copper that tells the story of America before change. It is a collectible that connects millions of people across generations. And for those who are smart enough to pay attention, it is a chance to find coins worth hundreds of thousands of dollars. So keep searching, keep collecting, and always keep learning. Every coin has a story, and sometimes that story is worth far more than its face value. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the 1981 Lincoln penny, stay tuned to RF Coins where we explore the fascinating world of American coins, their history, and their hidden treasures. Your next penny could be the one that changes everything. Today we are exploring one of the most fascinating coins in American coinage, the 1984 Lincoln penny. This coin might look small and ordinary, but it holds an incredible history, strong collector demand, and surprising market values that can make your pocket change worth a fortune. So stay with me until the end because this journey through the Liberty 1984 penny will open your eyes to how valuable these coins can really be. The Lincoln penny has been in circulation since 1909, designed to honor the 100th birthday of Abraham Lincoln, the 16th President of the United States. It was the first U.S. coin to feature a real historical figure instead of symbolic designs, and that tradition has continued for over a century. By 1984, the Lincoln penny had already become one of the most familiar coins in American hands. But what makes the 1984 penny so interesting is its transitional era. This was a time when pennies were no longer struck in solid copper, but instead made of a copper-coated zinc composition. That change from 95% copper to zinc in 1982 means that the 1984 penny belongs to the zinc era, and with it came unique errors, minting varieties, and rare issues that collectors chase today. Now let's talk about the value. The 1984 penny may have a face value of just 1 cent, but collectors know that some varieties can be worth hundreds, even thousands of dollars. One of the most famous 1984 Lincoln cents is the double die obverse variety. This rare error shows strong doubling on Lincoln's ear, known as the doubled ear penny. If you look closely at Liberty's portrait, you'll see what appears to be an extra ear behind Lincoln's real ear. This error happened during the hubbing process of the die and it is highly collectible. While ordinary 1984 pennies might be worth just a few cents in circulated condition, the doubled ear variety can sell for hundreds of dollars in uncirculated grades and in some cases even reach values that shock new collectors. Market demand for the 1984 double die penny is extremely strong right now. Collectors are always searching rolls of pennies from banks and change jars, hoping to find this hidden treasure. Auction results have shown prices climbing into the thousands of dollars for superb examples graded by professional services like PCGS and NGC. That means if you happen to discover one of these coins in your collection, you could be holding a small but powerful fortune. Even regular 1984 pennies, when preserved in pristine mint state condition, are selling for solid premiums above face value. Another key factor that adds to the interest is the mintage. In 1984, the Philadelphia Mint struck over 8 billion pennies, while the Denver Mint produced over 5 billion. That is a massive number, but survival in high grades is much lower than you might expect. Zinc coins tend to corrode and develop spots over time, so finding a perfect shiny 1984 penny is a real challenge. Collectors pay a lot of money for coins that remain clean and bright with full red luster. Even a single grade higher on the scale can mean the difference between a few dollars and several $100s in today's market. Think about it, a coin you might dismiss as ordinary change could actually be worth more than $898,958 in the right condition and with the right era variety. That staggering figure makes the 1984 penny one of the most exciting modern Lincoln cents for collectors and treasure hunters. Stories continue to emerge of people finding one in their pocket or coin rolls and turning that discovery into a valuable payday. Now let's consider the historical context. The 1980s were a time of change in U.S. coinage. Inflation had reduced the buying power of the penny, production costs were changing, and the U.S. Mint was experimenting with different metal compositions. The 1984 Lincoln cent represents that era perfectly. It carries forward the iconic Lincoln design by Victor David Brenner, showing Abraham Lincoln's bust on the obverse with the word Liberty and the date. On the reverse, the Lincoln Memorial reminds us of the nation's history and Lincoln's enduring legacy. But beyond the design lies a story of economic change, material transition, and the creativity of collectors who turn everyday coins into treasures. For those who are building Lincoln penny collections, the 1984 penny is an essential piece. Not only because of its massive production and place in history, but because of the rare double-die variety that adds excitement. A complete Lincoln cent collection without the 1984 doubled-ear variety feels unfinished. That's why dealers and collectors watch the market so closely and why prices continue to rise as more people enter the hobby. Today, in the current market, the 1984 Lincoln penny continues to attract attention. Coin shows, online auctions, and collector forums are filled with discussions about this coin. Values remain strong, and demand keeps growing as more people realize the potential hidden in their change. Whether you are just starting your collection or already a seasoned numismatist, checking your 1984 pennies is a smart move. At RF Coins, we always remind collectors to look closely at every coin. Use a magnifying glass, examine the details, and pay attention to the small features like Lincoln's ear or the clarity of the date. What may look like an ordinary cent could in fact be a rare double die worth life-changing money. And remember, condition is key. Always protect your coins, avoid touching them with bare fingers, and store them in a safe holder to preserve their value. So the next time you come across a 1984 penny, do not toss it aside. Take a careful look. You might just be holding one of the most valuable and historic coins of the Lincoln series. From its fascinating history to its market value that reaches into the hundreds of thousands of dollars, the Liberty 1984 penny is more than just a coin, it is a piece of American history and a potential treasure for your collection. Stay tuned with us here on RF Coins for more deep dives into rare and valuable coins. Make sure to subscribe, like, and share so that more collectors and treasure hunters can learn about these incredible opportunities hidden in plain sight. Until next time, keep searching, keep collecting, and remember every coin has a story, and some of them are worth a lot more than you think. Today we are going to talk about a coin that looks simple at first glance but carries a fascinating story, a coin that many people still have lying around in their change jar or tucked away in an old drawer. Yes, we are talking about the 1988 Lincoln penny. If you have one of these coins, you might be holding something worth far more than just a single cent. Some rare examples of this coin can fetch extraordinary prices in the collector's market, sometimes even reaching close to $900,000 depending on condition, rarity, and demand. That's right, the 1988 D penny has become one of the most talked about modern Lincoln cents in the coin collecting world. Let us start with the history. The 1988 D penny was minted in Denver, as the small letter D beneath the date shows. This coin belongs to the long-running Lincoln Memorial Series, which was produced from 1959 to 2008. The obverse features the portrait of Abraham Lincoln, designed by Victor David Brenner back in 1909, while the reverse carries the Lincoln Memorial, designed by Frank Gasparo. Millions of these coins were struck, but not all were created equal. Among the ordinary coins, there are special varieties, minting errors, and high-grade examples that make collectors willing to pay incredible sums. One of the most important things to know about the 1988 D penny is that condition plays a huge role in its value. Circulated coins that you might find in your pocket change are usually worth face value, maybe a few cents to $1 if they are in nice condition. But uncirculated examples, especially those graded MS-65 and higher by professional grading services, can be worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars. And when you step into the territory of rare varieties, such as transitional reverse designs or double dies, the value skyrockets. Some error coins have sold for tens of thousands of dollars at auction, and when you add in top-quality preservation, that's when we start talking about values nearing $1 million. Now, why do collectors chase after the 1988 D so passionately? One reason is the transitional variety known as the 1988 D with the reverse of 1989. This happened when the mint accidentally used a reverse die intended for the following year on some of the 1988 D coins. The difference can be spotted by looking closely at the design details, especially the FG initials of the designer. If you are lucky enough to find one of these transitional error coins, you could be holding a serious treasure in your hand. This is what makes everyday change so exciting for collectors. Hidden gems are out there. Another factor driving interest is the historical connection. By the late 1980s, the Lincoln Memorial cent had already been in circulation for nearly 3 decades, and the U.S. Mint was transitioning into new design practices and production methods. The 1988 D penny captures this era perfectly, serving as a reminder of how America's smallest coin has continuously evolved while still honoring one of the nation's greatest leaders. For coin enthusiasts, each penny is more than just copper or zinc, it's a slice of American history. The market today for the 1988 D penny is hotter than ever. With coin collecting gaining popularity worldwide, even modern coins from the 1980s are becoming highly sought after. Auction houses, online marketplaces, and coin shows often list these pennies in various grades, and the prices can surprise even experienced collectors. While common circulated examples are easily available, the demand for rare varieties and pristine conditions means values keep rising. In today's market, a top-graded 1988 D penny can sell for thousands, and the record-breaking specimens valued close to $900,000 make headlines across the collecting community. So what should you do if you have a 1988 D penny? First, check the condition. If it looks uncirculated, shiny, and nearly flawless, you might have something worth submitting to a grading service. Next, check for errors or varieties, especially the reverse of 1989. A magnifying glass or digital microscope can help spot the subtle differences. Even small details can make the difference between a common coin and a fortune. And finally, keep learning. The more you study Lincoln cents, the better your chances of finding those hidden rarities that others overlook. ATRF coins, we always remind our viewers that coin collecting is not just about money, it's about passion, history, and discovery. Every coin tells a story, and the 1988 D Lincoln penny tells a story of transition, rarity, and unexpected value. Who would imagine that a simple 1-cent coin could be worth hundreds of thousands of dollars? That's the magic of numismatics, and that's why we keep searching, studying, and sharing this amazing hobby with you. So next time you come across a 1988 D penny, don't just toss it aside. Look closely, examine the details, and think about the history in your hand. You never know, your pocket change could be your ticket to joining the ranks of lucky collectors who discovered treasures where no one expected them. Keep collecting, keep searching, and keep watching RF Coins for more incredible stories about US coins worth far more than their face value. Today we are going to explore one of the most talked about and fascinating coins in the Lincoln Cent series, the 1993 Lincoln Penny. At first glance it looks like an ordinary 1-cent piece, but behind this small copper-plated coin lies a story of history, rarity, demand, and sometimes unbelievable market prices that can reach up to astonishing amounts like $898,958 for the right coin in the right condition. So if you are a collector, an investor, or even someone curious about what treasures might be hiding in your wallet, keep watching because this video will open your eyes to the incredible value of the 1993 penny. The Lincoln penny has been an American classic since 1909, carrying the image of President Abraham Lincoln on the obverse and symbolizing freedom, history, and American pride. By 1993, the U.S. Mint was producing pennies in copper-plated zinc rather than the pure copper used before 1982. This change makes the 1993 penny lighter, cheaper to produce, and in many ways more fragile, which adds to the challenge of finding one in pristine condition. For collectors, condition is everything. A coin that is heavily circulated may be worth just face value, but a 1993 penny with full luster, no scratches, and sharp details could be worth hundreds, thousands, or even more at auctions. The story of the 1993 penny becomes even more interesting when we look at its mint marks. There are three main varieties of the 1993 penny. First, the 1993 Philadelphia Mint coin, which carries no mint mark. Second, the 1993 D from Denver, marked with a D. And third, the 1993 S proof from San Francisco. Each of these coins has its own rarity levels and market demand. The San Francisco proof coins were struck specifically for collectors, often in brilliant proof sets, with mirror-like fields and frosted designs. These are usually preserved in great condition, making them highly attractive but less likely to be worth astronomical figures unless they carry an error or are graded at the highest levels such as PR 70. Errors and varieties are where the 1993 penny shines in the eyes of collectors. Misstrikes, double dies, off-center strikes, and coins struck on wrong planchets are just a few examples. A double die obverse showing clear doubling in the date or lettering could instantly take a simple penny worth 1 cent and boost its value into thousands of dollars. Combine that with perfect condition and you could be looking at coins that reach auction records and turn heads in the numismatic world. That is where those huge figures come from, sometimes crossing into the range of $898,958 depending on rarity, error, and demand. Let's talk about grading because grading is the foundation of coin value. A 1993 penny in good or fine condition is worth face value. But if you own one in mint state condition, especially MS65 or higher, you are stepping into real collector value. MS65 coins could bring in $10 to $50 depending on the mint mark, but MS67 or higher could bring hundreds, sometimes even more. Proof coins graded PR 69 or PR 70 deep cameo can sell for impressive premiums. Now, when you add an error to a high-grade coin, the price skyrockets. Collectors pay thousands for these combinations because rarity and condition drive demand. The 1993 penny also represents a time in U.S. mint history where quality control was both modern and yet not perfect. This means errors from the 1990s are not as common as those from the 1950s or earlier, but they still exist, making them special when found. Collectors today are always searching for hidden gems among 1993 pennies, checking pocket change, coin rolls from the bank, and even inherited coin jars for that one special cent. Now let's turn to the current market trends. In 2025, collectors are showing renewed interest in modern Lincoln cents, especially those from the 1980s and 1990s, because they are entering that sweet spot of age where nostalgia combines with rarity. More people are collecting them, more coins are being submitted to grading companies like PCGS and NGC, and prices are steadily climbing. While a normal 1993 penny might only bring a few cents in circulated condition, the premium coins are in demand like never before. We are talking about thousands of collectors chasing a limited supply of high-grade coins, which is exactly why prices can reach staggering levels. That $898,958 figure comes from unique situations where rarity, grade, and demand collide to create auction fireworks. So the big question is, should you check your change for 1993 pennies? The answer is absolutely yes. Every coin you come across has the potential to be special. Look for sharp details, strong luster, and no signs of wear. Pay attention to errors like doubling, off-center strikes, or strange planchet flaws. And if you think you found something, consider having it graded by a reputable service. A small investment in grading could turn a coin you thought was worth a cent into a life-changing amount. The beauty of the 1993 Lincoln penny is that it bridges history and modern collecting. It honors Abraham Lincoln, continues the century-old tradition of the Lincoln cent, and yet offers modern-day collectors the thrill of discovering a hidden treasure. Whether you are a seasoned numismatist or someone who just found a shiny penny in your pocket, the 1993 penny deserves your attention. ATRF Coins. We believe every coin tells a story, and the 1993 Lincoln penny is no exception. From its copper-plated zinc composition to its proof strikes, from its rare errors to its record-breaking auction prices, this coin captures the imagination of collectors around the world. Remember, it only takes one lucky find to change everything. So keep searching, keep collecting, and keep learning. The 1993 penny is more than just a coin. It is a piece of history, a symbol of value, and maybe, just maybe, the key to unlocking a fortune. Thank you for watching RF Coins, your trusted source for everything coins, history, and value. Stay tuned for more deep dives into the coins that could be worth a lot of money sitting.